Yes, dear children, let's begin today's class. Page number 111. The next topic, that is Paleolithic Age. Paleolithic Age is also known as the Old Stone Age. Underline that. Paleolithic Age is also known as the Old Stone Age. This vast period has been divided by historians into lower, middle, and upper Paleolithic ages. Underline that as well. Throughout the Paleolithic age, the early humans led a nomadic life. Okay, first of all, let us read and then I'll come back to the explanation, alright? They were food gatherers and hunters who moved from one place to another in search of food and shelter. They ate raw meat, wild fruits, and vegetables. During the winter season, they used animal skin, bark of trees, and leaves to keep themselves warm. The earliest tools were made in the Paleolithic age. Underline that. The earliest tools were made in the Paleolithic age. At the first stage, pieces of stones were used as tools. Later, different types of crude stone tools to meet different needs were made. Flint, a type of stone, was widely used to make tools and weapons as it could be easily shaped into different forms. Alright, so now note down the points as I read out. Paleolithic age, the other name for Paleolithic is Old Stone Age. Now, that if you see the period of Paleolithic in figure 2.2, the period starts from somewhere around 2 lakh thousand years to 12,000 years ago, which is quite a vast period. So, as a result, the entire Paleolithic age or period is divided into into three periods. You can say that one is the lower, the middle, the lower Paleolithic, the middle Paleolithic, and the upper Paleolithic. All right. Next, whether it's lower, middle, or upper, throughout the Paleolithic age, it so happened that the human being, especially the early human being, the life that they lived was a kind of a nomadic life, which means they were wanderers from one place to another. They used to keep on moving. They didn't have a proper settlement at one place. Okay. Now the reason behind why they kept moving from one place to another is that in search of food, in search of shelter, all right, and they used to eat raw meats, wild fruits, vegetables, and especially during the winter season, in order to keep themselves warm, they will use the animal skin or at times leaves and even barks of trees. Now, this Paleolithic age was one such age, where the earliest forms of tools were made. And at the first stage, as I told you, the three stages of Paleolithic, that is the lower, middle, and upper. At the first stage, pieces of stones were used as tools. Later on, different types of stones were also used to meet up the daily needs. Okay, and especially in particular, there was a particular type of stone which was named as flint. Underline that. Okay, page 111. Now that was one of the stone which was very widely used, as because it can be easily shaped into different forms, which was easier for these people, okay, for the early humans to make tools and weapons. So as a result, this particular stone was very much widely used as flint. Next we have techniques of tool making. The early humans applied two major techniques to make tools. The first technique of tool making applied by the early Stone Age people is termed as stone on stone technique. Underline that. So basically there are two techniques. The first technique for tool making, which was applied by the early Stone Age people, is known as stone on stone technique. In this technique, what happens is the pebble selected to be converted into a tool was held in one hand, then another piece of stone serving as a sort of hammer was held in the other hand. This stone was used to chisel the pebble into a tool. Now, the second major technique, which has been termed as pressure flake. In this technique, the piece of stone from which the tools was to be made was placed on a surface. The hammer stone was used on another piece of stone placed on core, and flecks were removed from it. Thus, core could be given different shapes. Alright, now listen. So basically, in order to make tool, there were two techniques. Okay, the first technique is termed as stone on stone technique, and the second technique is called what? Pressure flaking. Okay, please underline that, circle the word. The second, that's pressure flaking. The first, that is stone on stone technique. All right, now let us see in detail what is this stone on stone technique and what do you mean by pressure flaking. Stone on stone technique is it basically means the pebble, okay, the stones which are selected, the small stones, those will have to be converted into a tool. Now, in order to convert that into a tool, these pebbles which are selected will be held in one hand, and then there will be another piece of stone which will be serving the purpose of a hammer, all right, and this stone was used to chisel the pebble into a tool. So that particular stone which is serving the purpose of a hammer, that will be used to chisel, okay, to fix in this pebble into a tool. That's called stone on stone technique. Stone on stone technique, hitting another stone. The second major technique, that is pressure flaking. In this technique, what happens? The piece of stone from which the tool was to be made, that will be placed on a surface, and the hammer stone, the stone which is used for hammering purpose, that was used on another piece of stone, okay, which is placed on the core, and flecks were removed from it with the help of hammering. Now, as a result, the core can be given different shapes as because of the stone which is used to serve the purpose of hammer. So one is pressure flaking, the other one is stone on stone technique. Next, both large and small pieces of stones were used to make tools and weapons. Axe leads, hammers, and choppers were made from larger stone pieces. Underline, tools which were made from larger stone pieces. It can be an objective question. Axe leads, hammers, and choppers. The axe lead was tied to a stick that made it convenient to use. Let me see, there is a figure out there in the next page. No. The axe lead was tied to a stick that made it convenient to use. Knives and scrapers were made from smaller pieces of stones. Some stones were given a sharp point and tied to arrow and spears. They were very helpful in hunting animals from a distance. Yeah, arrow, spears, throwing like this. So even from a distance you can kill animals. So this paragraph tells us about the different tools which were used during this Paleolithic age, and the purposes of these particular tools. Also, it was not only stone, even remains of bones, horns, and tusks of animals such as the wild ox and elephant, some with weapons embedded in them, suggest that these animals were hunted. Pits were sometimes dug and covered with leaves and twigs to trap large animals. The animals that could not get out were killed. Okay, hunting trap. You might have seen at times in TVs and all that there will be big pit being dug. Okay, kind of a well. That's what they will make, covered up with leaves and all. And what happens? Any animal comes, steps into that particular pit, they get caught in the trap, and if the animal is unable to come out by itself out of that particular what do you call pit, then the animal would be killed. Now, how it was known that animals were hunted? The first sentence, please underline that. Remains of bones, horns, and tusks of animals such as the wild ox and elephant, some with weapons embedded in them, suggest that animals were hunted. So basically, by the sources of bones which was being found during the Paleolithic age, horns, tusks, and all such things. It tells us that animals were hunted. Otherwise, from where will they get these bones and all? While rubbing two pieces of stone or wood together, they might have accidentally discovered how to light a fire, and then fire was the major discovery of this age. See, they might have accidentally discovered. That means there is no proper confirmation whether this fire was discovered uh, knowingly or unknowingly. You can say that, but whatever it is, whether it's knowingly or unknowingly, but fire was discovered, and that too during those days, Paleolithic age. Early humans kept a fire burning at the entrance of his cave to prevent the wild animals. Gradually, the practice of eating cooked food has started. Alright. Another purpose of fire is that to keep the wild animals away from the cave where this early human stayed, and gradually they made use of this fire even for preparing food, for cooking food. Next, there is the major Paleolithic sites. Sites are those places where archaeologists discover tools, implements, and other artifacts of historical importance. Underline. What do you mean by sites? Sites are those places where archaeologists discover tools, implements, and other artifacts of historical importance. These artifacts enable us to understand different aspects of life our ancient predecessors had led. All right. So basically, it's not only the artifacts, even the tools which were used by them, or if you can visit such sites, such places, we get an idea, we get a picture about the way, the life that this early human beings lived. Okay, that's what this paragraph talks about. Next, historical sites have been found on the earth's surface, under the earth, and even underwater on some occasions. Hmm. As you know or not, you this the sea level, day by day the sea level is rising. As a result, there are many historical sources which already got drowned under the water and it's still there. So that's what historical sites have been found on the earth's surface, under the earth, and even underwater on some occasions. A number of such sites associated with the Paleolithic age have been discovered across the Indian subcontinent. Most of these sites are located near large water bodies such as rivers, lakes, and springs. Another striking feature of these sites is that they are located in areas where stones are available in plenty. The reason is that the Paleolithic people used stones to make different types of tools for hunting and food gathering. Alright, underline from this. I'll repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. The fifth line of second paragraph. Most of these sites are located near large water bodies such as rivers, lakes, and springs. Another striking feature of this series of these sites is that they are located in areas where stones are available. Okay, so basically, the two main features of this particular sites, okay, where of the Paleolithic age is the places which are near to water bodies, and secondly, places where plenty, abundant of stones were found, or you can say the stones are available, as because water we know one of the most basic requirement for human existence, for survival, for any purpose, be it not only for consuming, even for cooking food and all, for washing clothes, for all the other purpose in a day. So that's one of the main reason. Another reason is this stone, as because this Paleolithic people, as we have seen in the previous topics, that they used to use these stones to make different types of tools, especially for hunting and food gathering. So as a result, places where stones were easily available was one of their best places for them to reside, to settle, the people of Paleolithic age. Places where stone tools have been found are known as factory sites. Underline. What do you mean by factory sites? As Paleolithic people led a nomadic life, it can be presumed that they might not have stayed there for long. However, there are some sites where they might have lived for a longer period. This is evident from the types of artifacts found there, which include not only stone tools but also the objects and structures they use for other purposes. Such sites are called habitation cum factory sites. Okay, I'll explain you. You just underline habitation cum factories. One is factory sites. Where is that? Yeah. The other one is habitation cum factory sites. Most of these sites associated with the Paleolithic people are rock shelters and caves. People might have chosen these places for the purpose of habitation because they could protect them from heat, rain, and wind. Underline that. Underline from most of these sites associated, connected with the Paleolithic people are rock, shelter, and caves. Even the next sentence, people might have chosen these places for the purpose of habitation because they could protect them from heat, rain, and wind. Such places also protected them from wild animals. Most of this rock, shelter, and caves have been found near the Vindhyas and in the Deccan Plateau, lying close to the Narmada Valley. Alright, underline that as well. So almost you can say, you know, the last portion of this paragraph, the entire thing is important. Huh? So many questions can be made from this portion. Some important Paleolithic sites in India include Mirzapur, which is in Uttar Pradesh, Bhimbetka, which is in Madhya Pradesh, Pune, Chikri Nevasa, Bori in Maharashtra, Kurnool in Andhra Pradesh, and Hunski in Karnataka. Alright, so these are some of the most important Paleolithic sites. If you ever visit there, hmm, try to visit these locations, these places, especially where you find the sources of Paleolithic age, Paleolithic period. All right, now let's start explaining. So basically, where am I? Yeah, this factory sites. Factory sites are basically those places where stone tools have been found. Okay, because what happens in a factory? Production, manufacturing takes place, right? So manufacturing of stone tools. Now, simple in simple term, another layman's term, if I explain you, habitation come factory sites. Habitation means habitat. We say, where one resides, right? So a habitation come factory sites, which means uh, you have the stone tools, okay, and at the same time you also reside out there, you also live out there. That is called habitation come factory sites. Now, especially in habitation come factory sites, you will find this rock shelters and caves. Okay, now why people chose this habitation? Now, wherever there is rocks, shelters, or you can say cave shelter, this Paleolithic people made this particular areas as a habitation come factory sites. Means stone they will gather, at the same time they will reside out there. The reason behind that is this caves or this rock shelters helps them, to protect them from heat, rain, and wind, and also from wild animals as well. And if you want to see visit this rock shelters and all, you have to visit this place. Which place? Near the Vindhyas, which is, and also in the Deccan Plateau region. It is quite close to Narmada Valley. So if you visit this area, you can find this what you call habitation cum factory sites of the Paleolithic period. And also some of the other Paleolithic sites in India that we have is Mirzapur, Bhimbetka, Pune, Chikri, Bori, Karnool, and Hunski. You have to mark it up, okay? All this, the name of places where Paleolithic sites are being found. Next, we have Mesolithic. 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 We will do it in the next class. All right. We'll end up with this much. That's Paleolithic. So whatever I have asked you to mark, if you just mark that and listen to the explanation properly, that's all for you. That's enough for you, because each and everything, what is important, it's not that not even a single word is being skipped, right? So go through the text properly and study well. See you in the next class.